Mr. Lee, welcome to KSD seminar. So please unmute yourself when you're ready and share your screen with the presentation. If you can make the presentation in full screen mode, yeah, that's better. That's better. Thank you. Thank you. So the floor is yours, Mr. Lee. The floor is yours.
Okay. Hello. Do you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I start the presentation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robin. It's an honor to present here today on Most Frontier Technology. I worked as the main architect of LEI Level 2 at Korea Securities Depository. And now I am working on DLT research after moving to the R&D department. Today, I would like to explain the benefits of DLT technology for post-trade services and corporate actions. DLT stands for Distributed Ledger Technology. I will explain more detailed descriptions on the later part of this presentation. Before starting this topic, I would like to briefly review the growth of the cryptocurrency industry, which is closely related to DLT, and statistics on the growth of overseas stock investment by Korean investors. This chart is a graph of a price trend of the Bitcoin market in 2020. Recently, the Bitcoin market has received a lot of interest from investors. Thanks to this enthusiastic interest, cryptocurrency exchanges succeeded in generating high returns comparable to huge brokerage companies in the first quarter of 2021. As can be seen in the table below, Coinbase, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in North America, gained a revenue of $770 million. Hong Kong-based Binance gained a revenue of $590 million, and South Korea's Upbit gained a revenue of $500 million in the first quarter of 2021. These statistics seem to suggest that tokens made based on DLT technology not only have a high market value, but also have a significant impact on the related financial ecosystem. Let's see the next page. This table shows the growth trend of Korean investors' overseas investment in 2020. As can be seen from the table, the amount of overseas investment in the first quarter of 2020 was less than $10 billion here, but increased to $46.3 billion by the end of the first quarter of 2021. The growth of the overseas investment market is causing various winds of change in the financial world, including the increase in the size of related post-trade services. In the next page, we will take a look at how an existing linear intermediary chain infrastructure can be integrated into a DLT system. So take some time to see what are the benefits of integration. The structure diagram displayed on this screen is the structure diagram of business process when purchasing foreign stocks in the local market. Although it looks a bit complicated, we have drawn the infrastructure in detail to clarify the benefits of integration. You can understand this diagram more clearly by looking at the picture of the integrated DLT system that follows. let's look at the diagram. And investors are at the bottom left here, and overseas exchanges are at the bottom right here. All intermediaries shown in the schematic are acting as intermediaries for financial transactions between two. First, investors place an order with a securities company in the local market, and the securities company in the local market delivers the order through a linked overseas broker. Afterwards, the clearing and settlement process through the KSD, local bank, correspondent bank, and global custodians, and so on. The fact I want to point out in this post-trade services structure is that many intermediaries are linearly connected to each other, and linearly connected networks are diverse and have many different forms, so they cannot be combined into a single network. This linearity of securities infrastructure creates various risks when exercising the rights of overseas investors, which will be described later. In the next page, we will talk about a model for brokering the exercise of rights between issuers and investors, with each intermediary having a set of deadline. This is case 2. Here we will talk about cases involving voluntary corporate actions. Foreign investors' instructions are transmitted through a linear brokerage network chain and are collected by intermediaries up to the deadline. In this diagram, the issuer is in the upper left here, and the investors is in the upper right. For a more specific explanation, bond maturity extension is selected to explain these kinds of corporate action. Sure, the same things applies in the case of any voluntary corporate actions respectively. The issuer announces the voluntary corporate action schedules for investors to extend the maturity of a bond, and the local market broker receives this information and collects the instructions from domestic investors. For overseas investors, things get a little more complicated. A standing proxy who can intermediate the instructions of foreign investors receives and delivers the instructions of foreign investors in connection with the KSD in the middle. Now the corporate action schedule generated by issuers cascade through lots of intermediaries to foreign investors and then return to the issuer through numerous individual deadline schedules. In such a complex linear structure, if one intermediary in the middle delays of data transmission, or investors' instructions are mishandled or misinterpreted, can cause entire networks into delay or even cause domino effect of errors and potential financial loss. In addition, as shown by way of example in the structure diagram, the deadline given for the collection of investors' instruction by each intermediary can be pointed out as a factor that hinders the efficiency and speed of the overall exercise process. Now let's look at the last diagram. This diagram is an integrated form of a global securities infrastructure based on DLT. Although we are still at the very conceptual level design for various reasons, the benefits of these global securities infrastructure models are clear. It is possible to achieve unprecedented efficiency of the global intermediary system in the processes, such as the exercise of the rights of foreign investors, which was pointed out as a problem earlier. As the structure diagram clearly shows, numerous intermediaries quickly share information necessary for investment brokerage in an integrated global network. Even in processes such as the exercise of corporate actions, much less deadlines are required because the structure is in place to efficiently share data between intermediaries. And investors' instructions are more accurate, faster, and resulting in more investment market opportunities. By establishing a global cooperative network in this way, we will be able to benefit from DLT technology and systems based on it. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have.
Mr. Lee, that was very interesting presentation and your experience in this sphere. Thank you very much. No question from the audience at the moment. So if there are any, we will share it with you afterwards. Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you.